Ada! Robreak family, once again, we're right here. Good evening, every single one of you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with us throughout this whole exciting and
busy weekend
in the professional wrestling world. Jean Paul, Juanzo, the best duet in professional wrestling, the best tag team. It's not Imperium, it's not Undisputed Era, none of that garbage. Us. And Words Collide, Jean Paul. We just watched that.
Yep.
Great pay-per-view.
Great show.
Amazing show. I think that that for us is like a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see the Royal Rumble tomorrow beating this, but there's always a shot, right?
There's always the surprise factor that they could have. We know that they could be some people that will be coming back that we've been waiting to see for a long time. So if you want to know who are our picks and who think is gonna come out and everything, please check one of our videos right there. We have previews and predictions. An hour of just pure information about Royal Rumble. Jean Paul and I just cover every single thing. So, Jean Paul, before we start, like usual, thank you to everybody that is watching. Thank you to all of our fans. And we always try to be very appreciative with all of you. That's why we try to do every single, change things around and everything. But now, let's go to the meat and potatoes, meat and everything. Words Collide. And the pre-show match, it was Mia Yim against the NXT Women's Champion, Kaylee Ray. I think... Go ahead.
I was just going to say, the one thing that, the better match for, selling tickets or whatever was Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley, but this was all, you kind of felt it was, the best of the UK versus the best of...
the America.
Yeah, so it's
America,
And now Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley, they both were from NXT UK first, but wouldn't you think it should have been Kaylee Ray versus just Rhea Ripley?
Yeah.
Based off that. So to see this pre-show was, a little weird that she was in the pre-show, but... we'll get to the Toni Storm and Rhea Ripley, our opinions on that match, and how it could have been a little bit better. But
yeah, absolutely.
But this wasn't a bad pre-show match.
No, I think that like you said, it's just you're trying to showcase NXT UK against NXT America, and that's why you needed, I guess, a girl from NXT America, and you got to use your champion.
Yeah, because you got to think both women in the match was supposed to be, like we said, one brand versus the other, but the women's match was they were both from NXT America.
Yeah.
So it was what the heck?
So I would, that kind of was, for example, I wouldn't much rather, for example, see Mia Yim against a Piper Niven, or maybe Kaylee Ray, like you said, going against Rhea Ripley, because since both of them are champions, it would make a lot more sense.
Exactly.
They didn't go like that, but you know what? It ended up being a good warming up match. People are getting into their seats. Hey, we're getting some popcorn, getting some beers, some soda, hot dogs, and I think that for me, it did I didn't appreciate what they did. We watched it. I think it was really good. So let me take you through some moments of the match. Mia Yim hits Ray with a series of jabs. Then Ray goes for the gory bomb, but Yim hits her with a back body drop instead. Then Ray rolls to the outside, but Yim hits her with a suicide dive. See, Mia Yim is showing that she's improving. She's a lot more intense. She's actually going for stuff. Before, you will see she was kind of afraid of doing some things. Her attitude has changed for the best, I think.
Oh yeah, I would say ever since the War Games build where she showed that intensity, and then all where she did that German or the power bomb, whatever, the German suplex to Dakota Kai through the announce table, all that stuff. So and coming out with the kendo stick and all that. So she shows just good intensity, which you need to show against Kaylee Ray, because she was, she's legit and it's a badass too. You could say she, all the diving moves, the sentons, all that to the outside. She doesn't care if she hurts herself, as long as she hurts her opponent. So it was both those women, at least they fit in that regard, where they're both, really tough.
Exactly. And for example, she does the suicide dive, then Yim follows to the outside and rolls back in the ring, but Ray catches her with a super kick while Yim is on the apron, sending her back down to the floor. Then Ray goes to the top rope, and then he hits a cannonball on Yim from the top to the outside.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly.
So you see, it was a good match, and you see intensity from both women. You told me, the comment that Nigel McGuinness said on NXT Blackpool, Sabu, when that reference with Kaylee Ray, and it is true. She goes for stuff. She might not be, everybody's cup of tea, but I think that, as a champion and as a wrestler, she's pretty good.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah, and then Mia Yim hits the cold blue on Ray again, and Ray kicks out for a 2. She kicks out of 2. Then Ray rolls up Yim for the 2 count. They just kind of exchanging roll-ups. Then Yim goes for the German suplex, but instead rolls up Rhea for a pin and for a 2 count. Then Rhea reverses. She gets some leverage and pins Yim. Mm-hmm. Remember, like she was grabbing onto the ropes.
Yeah.
And then she gets a 3 count.
Yeah, so like there's a way, I always say there's a way to make somebody lose, and that was the way to make her lose. Mia Yim, she didn't just eat the gory special, 1, 2, 3. It was, she lost, but they kind of were holding the rope. So it's like, really like how, like, she won, but there's an asterisk near that. So she cheated, and just furthers Kaylee Ray being a heel. And, Mia Yim, because they're not going to squash her. Like, they want her to look good. So, It was a good pre-show match.
And like you said, it's like, follow, like, the heel tactics. Yeah. Hey, I might not be able to pin you with my finisher, but I cheat to win. Mm-hmm. And at the end, I get the win because I'm the heel. Yep. Like, it doesn't matter how I get the win, as long as I get my win. And a win is a win.
Exactly.
So, really, a good warm-up match. I will say that. It was very good for what it was. And now we go to the main card. We're all waiting for the great show that it was going to be, and we get a match that we both were hyping and waiting for happen.
Yep.
Finn Balor against Ilya Dragunov.
Yep, legit match. This was, a lot of them I said could be the show stealer, but, the whole thing being over, besides the main event, I think this was the best match.
Yeah, I will say that. It was pretty good. Both guys went at it. Do I say that, the match was, better than when he did with Cesaro? Probably not.
Yeah.
But just to have one-on-one with Finn Balor.
This was a good continuation. Not to compare the two, but it's like Michaels and Undertaker won. At WrestleMania was better than when they did it the next year. But it wasn't bad.
Yes.
It was just the same thing. It was the match with Cesaro was so good because it was the first time we've seen this kid. And it was oh my God, this is insane. He's so talented. And Cesaro could get a 5-star match out of anybody.
Yes.
So, you put those two guys together, it was insane. And then this with Finn Balor, it was the expectations were so high. And I feel like this match was maybe a little shorter. Yeah. But it was just as hard hitting, just as stiff. You saw the guys were bleeding. Balor might have even broke his nose. When Dragunov went for almost a coast to coast, but he was draped over the ropes instead in the corner, like a drop kick. So he looked like Balor broke his nose. Dragunov was bleeding near his eye, on his forehead.
Around here also, yeah.
So it was it was really tough, hard hitting match, and it was super, and that's what makes it legit.
Yeah, and we gotta remember that probably the reason that Dragunov got this match with Balor is because of the match with Cesaro. Mm-hmm. They know that this guy is really young and he has a lot of potential, and he didn't disappoint at all here.
No,
I think he pulled out a great showing for the American audience, and I think that maybe if NXT UK will get a mid-card title, that will be the guy that I will put my title right there. Imagine maybe that could be a potential number 1 contender for Walter. You might imagine that. Maybe.
Yeah, because we've seen Tyler Bate, we've seen a small
we've seen small,
small guys go against Walter, and they've been that was my match of the year, so I could definitely see it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's take you through some of the highlights of the match. Ilya just chops at Finn's head and neck. Finn grounds Ilya and goes for the double stomp, but then Ilya rolls out of the way and then hits Finn with a knee to the face, getting to a close count. Ilya picks Finn with a fireman's carry, but Finn fights out and then hits Ilya with a double stomp on Dragunov's chest. And then Finn and Ilya trade strikes. Ilya hits Finn with a kick, and Finn goes for a Pele kick, but Ilya catches it. So that was, I remember, that was really cool. That was a cool spot. And then Finn tries to go for the 1916, but Ilya blocks it. And then Finn hits him in the main section, sending Ilya down to the mat. Then Finn heals Ilya with a sling blade. He does a good sling blade. We gotta say,
Finn Balor, the best.
The best, and Britt Baker could learn, a thing or two of what Finn Balor does. And let me take you to the last spots of the match. Ilya hits Finn with a rebound clothesline, then hits Finn with a dive to the outside. Ilya then gets on Finn with the inside ropes, and then hits a coast to coast. That's the spot that you were saying, and that's when Finn Balor, it seemed like he might have
broke his nose.
We don't really know. And he pins him for a 2 count, then Dragunov goes back to the top and goes for a senton from the top, but Finn gets his knees up, and then Finn hits Ilya with a drop kick into the corner, so you know what's happening. He's setting it up.
Spot. Yep.
Setting it up for the coup de grace, and then Finn hits the Dragunov with the 1916, covering him for the 3 count victory. Finn Balor gets his win over Dragunov. Good match. And like you said in the NXT review on the channel, by the way, now Finn Balor is actually using the coup de grace as a signature move.
Yeah, because like I said, it's more like, anytime you do a high-flying move, that's usually, put with a baby face. You're not like going to see a heel do some crazy high-flying move that the crowd pops for. And also, I think it's more devastating when you're dropping a dude on his head to pin him.
Yes.
I know, like, the foot stomp to the chest, or like the stomach, whatever, could take the wind out of your opponent. But like dropping him on his head to me is just more devastating.
It's more devastating, and like you said something very important, and that's why it's really interesting to understand psychology. Like heels don't do, aerial finishers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They like to do devastating moves like the 1916. So that's why I probably switch it up. And this is probably one of the best moments of the pay-per-view, and it wasn't really a match, but it was actually a segment that they had involved the Grills Young Veterans and Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne.
Yeah.
So they was really, really great.
That's the one thing I just want to bring up. I know, I believe that they said this match was supposed to be at Worlds Collide.
Yes.
But then I don't know if it's because the DIY Mustache Mountain thing was kind of just made, like the internet kind of demanded it, and then they were like, oh, let's do it, and they booked like an angle on TV where both teams agreed. So I don't know if that replaced it, but they pushed this. This is going to be on Wednesday?
Yeah, it's going to be the final. It's going to be on Wednesday, and they announced that like the winner of the tournament is going to get a tag team title match at NXT Takeover.
Yeah, which I mean, to me, they didn't need to say that. I felt like even if they didn't, like the winners of the Dusty Cup could come out and be like, hey, we won this. We demand a title shot. And William Regal would be like, yeah.
And they always do that.
Yeah.
For example, Ricochet and Aleister Black, when they won last year, what did they do in the Takeover?
Mm-hmm.
They fought the Viking Raiders for the tag title.
So it was kind of obvious, but it was still, they announced it. Kathy Kelly came out and she interviewed the Grizzled Young Veterans, and they were just saying, oh, blah, 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 we're going to win.
We're going to win. And then your boy.
And then we get to Matt Riddle, and he's talking, and he was all like, we're all smiles, we're all happy, we're gonna win this, and he says like Pete Dunne, he's like he's smiling from ear to ear, and Pete Dunne just, he's like this look on his face,
drink.
And he's like, but that's his happy face, blah blah blah, and then Pete Dunne grabs the mic and he's like, let me be blunt, and Matt Riddle's like. And then, he's like looking around and like he's all crazy, and he's like, Matt Riddle is going to smoke you guys. And he's like...
And that's what we're all about.
And then it's like, bro. I mean, he looks like Matt Riddle, but he comes out in the yellow like that with the stripes.
That's right, yeah.
But, so it was a great promo, and and you could even see like Pete Dunne is like, he's being serious, but there's a little smirk. He's like trying to hold it back while cutting this promo. And like he said, Matt Riddle, we're going to smoke you guys, blah, blah, blah. They're going to win this. And it was like a legit, thing, because as good as the Grizzled Young Veterans are, like I said, the in-ring and talent, all that stuff is there. Who's the team you want to see win?
Well, the Broserweights. The Broserweights, yeah. You just need to have those guys win, because then the match with an Undisputed there is going to be so amazing.
Yeah, because you're not going to do heel. Like, who wants to see heel versus heel?
No,
like, come on.
And you want like a baby face to go against the Undisputed era, because you just, and also like everybody's rooting for them, because also they have chemistry, in the ring and outside.
And again, I'm not going to, be mean to the Grizzled Young Veterans or anything, but who do we want to see more have gold? You're not doing, Matt Riddle's not in the North American Championship hunt. He's not in the main title hunt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So
neither Pete Dunne.
Yeah, same thing with Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne.
And Pete Dunne, he's not wrestling on NXT UK, so it's not like he's going after Walter. So it's like, what do? Tag team.
Exactly. So I feel that was a really good segment, and it got the crowd excited. And this is something that to me was an upset. We weren't thinking that this could happen.
Mm-hmm. NXT, especially like that person.
Yes.
To win. But.
Yeah, but like this is probably the upset of the night. Especially we've been fans of the guy. We don't understand what happened. We're still in shock.
Oh boy.
Does our boy kind of like disappoint? NXT Cruiserweight Champion Angel Garza against Isaiah Swerve Scott, Jordan Devlin, and Travis Banks, the brother of Sasha Banks. No, they're not related at all. And this match, although the outcome wasn't what we wanted it, or at least what everybody expected, really great match.
Oh my god!
From the top to bottom.
This thing, it was legit. Like I said, I always use the analogy, like these guys were shot out of a cannon, and it was like, it wasn't like ding 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 and like, oh, like headlock, and it's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. These guys are boom, 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 like
zub.
These were like ping pong, or not ping, like a pinball. I mean, you're just bouncing all over the place. tons of action, and like nothing, none of the spots that to me seemed like spots. It's not like a guy's like waiting for a dude to jump.
You didn't see like the weight.
Yeah, the timing was so there, like and it was so good.
Yeah, like you said, the timing it flew better.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see Angel Garza walking and waiting right there for the spot and like
yeah.
It's like kind of like the flow of it was like it felt really natural. It didn't feel like I said, like, oh, John Paul is gonna die.
Yeah.
Right there. So and the end, like we enjoyed this for what it was. Like really 4 guys that are really at the top of their game.
Like let's be honest. If we weren't Angel Garza marks, if we weren't like so in like love with this guy, it wouldn't like we wouldn't have.
It wouldn't have hurt
because the match was so legit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Then like I said, we're gonna take you a lot of the spots because this was, like I said, probably the best match of the night.
Mm-hmm.
These 4 guys kill each other right there, and they turn the house down. And let's go to it. Garza chops at Scott, but Scott chops back. Scott catches Garza with a knee strike and goes for a house call, but Devlin broke it up with a super kick. Devlin hits Banks with a headbutt, but then Banks responds with a Canadian Destroyer.
Mm-hmm.
They always do the move. I will keep plugging it in. Every single promotion, Canadian Destroyer, most overrated move in professional wrestling nowadays. You can quote me on it. It's fine. I'll take the blame.
The only reason like I'll agree with that and we can move on is because like to me that's like that should be somebody's finisher.
Yes.
You're like doing a quick, like you're on the dude's back and you're flipping him really fast, really hard, and he hits his head. That should be done. And that's like, that move is a guaranteed 2 count. Just boom. It's like not like nobody puts anyone away with it.
And also, Mister, wouldn't you agree? Even the name is Canadian Destroyer, so it should be destroying people. I mean, if it is Panama Sunrise or Panama City, however you want to call it, then I'll be fine. But anyway. So, Banks goes to the top turnbuckle, but Garza pushes him up to the top to the outside of the ring. Garza instead goes to the top turnbuckle, but Scott knocks him. And then Garza hangs on the middle rope, and Scott joins him onto the middle rope. Then Devlin goes to the top and hits both men with like a superplex. To me, it kind of looked like a Spanish fly, like a double Spanish fly.
Yeah, he couldn't get them really like turned over for the Spanish fly. Well, he kind of threw them over, but he kind of just fell down because, I mean, Jordan Devlin is like, no, I'm not like attacking the guy, but like he's short, and I feel like if it was Angel Garza and Travis Banks, he probably could have did it. But Swerve Scott, even though he is a cruiserweight, he's tall.
Yeah.
So he probably couldn't get the momentum to get him over along with Garza. So it looked kind of like a superplex, but like you said, he flipped him like a Spanish fly.
Yeah, it was absolutely like the move looked good.
Oh yeah.
It didn't look bad at all.
No.
So and then we go like I said, the superplex. Banks hits Devlin with a slice of heaven and a Kiwi crusher, covering him for like a very close 2 count.
And I will say, because like after that point, Banks kind of didn't do too much, but he probably got the most single offense in, like just him in the whole match. Like a lot of the other guys got like, it would be like Swerve Scott would go to kick Angel Garza and he would duck and hit like Jordan Devlin.
Yes.
But just for like standalone one man doing all the offense, I would say it was Travis Banks. He was taking everybody out the first 5-6 minutes of this match.
He dominated all the other 3. So he got a really good showing.
Yeah, he looked really good.
Yeah, he did really good. So Devlin rose to the outside, and Scott and Banks, they trade chops. Scott catches Banks with a powerbomb and covers Banks for a really close 2 count. Then Scott gets Travis Banks into an electric chair, and Garza takes down both men. Garza tosses Banks to the outside, and then he goes for his finisher, the Wing Clipper, and on Scott, but then Jordan Devlin breaks it up. Then Devlin instead hits the Devil inside on Isaiah Scott and covers him for the 3 count. And ladies and gentlemen, Robert family, everybody that watches, we have a new Cruiserweight champion, and tears are falling out of our eyes.
I almost didn't think it was going to end there, because you see Garza, he dives in to break the pin and he just misses the 3 count. But obviously, like in WWE, they're not going to be like some small time indie promotion. If the match wasn't supposed to end there, the ref would have just stopped and been like a 2.
Yeah, or like it would have gone like a lot slower when it comes to the 3.
Yeah, so it wasn't like a botch. That was the legit how they wanted it to go, and at least Angel Garza didn't get pinned. So there is the possibility that he could say like, "Hey, listen, give me like if you're so good, you're the ace. Let's go 1-on-1, and we'll prove who the real ace is."
Right now, you have right there your feud at NXT TakeOver Portland.
Mm-hmm.
It will be Angel Garza trying to get his title back against Jordan Devlin.
Yeah, and I'm not saying I want to see them play hot potato, But the one thing that kind of bothers me is like Leo Rush, and he was legit too. He was a legit champion to restart that brand because Triple H knew how legit he was and he was going to present him in that legit way. But his title reign was short. And it's like, oh, you give it to Angel Garza, but he was so over, so charismatic, and he's so legit in the ring. It was like, okay, I understand. But then now it seems like it's being hot potato.
Yes.
And now that Devlin has it, I don't want him to hold it for a month and a half and then hot potato it to like Travis Banks or Swerve Scott. Like, let this guy hold it maybe until WrestleMania.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, at least, like I said, I wish it was Angel Garza still, but Jordan Devlin is so legit. Like I said to you, when the match was over, I'm like, he deserves it. You know what I mean? It's not like a guy like, really? It's not like a Santino Marella or some bullshit. It's like, like, really?
It is worth to mention also that NXT UK member is actually a champion in the NXT America brand.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's a thing, like I said. Now, not that NXT, like, needs more people, but I've been saying for how long, I wish they would do, like, cruiserweight storylines. Maybe he'll show up on Wednesday. And, to the Full Sail crowd, be like, I'm your cruiserweight champion, blah, 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 and be like cutting heel promos and this and that. So that's something I'm looking forward to seeing.
Or, for example, also, like, if we go that route, right? For example, Angel Garza showing up in NXT to UK.
Yeah.
And be like, hey, I know that you're here. I want my title shot. I want a match with you. NXT TakeOver Portland. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that could be great. Because, like, I feel that, like, these two can have a really great rivalry. Am I upset that like Angel Garza dropped the title? Yeah, because like you said, it was just short.
Mm-hmm. That's what I just first
title defense.
Yeah, I just don't like short title reigns.
And done.
Unless you're giving it to like a guy, like I said, like hey man, like thanks a lot, like thank you for everything you did. Here's the belt, but you're not really our champion, so we're gonna take it off you tomorrow night. But that's not what That's not what Angel Garza was. That's not what Jordan Devlin was.
And that's even the character.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So it's like I don't know like why the short title reigns. Like, and that's what I mean. I just don't get it, but I'm not upset because they gave it to someone who was legit.
Yes, and see, like, Devlin stood up in the Spanish announce table and he said, I told you so. I'm the best wrestler in the planet. Mm-hmm. So, like, I'm just this now testifies.
Yeah.
And there you go. Devon testifies that I'm, the best in the world, so to say. And that's what he closed the segment with.
The ace. So it's going to be him versus Tanahashi.
I told you that. Why they don't have that match? And then you would love that because like you love Tanahashi, and I think Ace against Ace it will be good. So that also we get a shot of Mia Yim, and then she's sitting in the audience ringside after her defeat with the new NXT North American champion, bask in his glory, Kid Lee. Then we also saw Chelsea Green with Robert Stone or Robbie E. They were just also in the audience. So that was really cool to see at least like how they keep pumping up, hyping up Kid Lee. Yeah. Hyping up Kid Lee.
I just like when they show like all the people in the crowd and stuff, and if they would have signed Killer Cross, they would have showed him
or whoever they signed, brand new signee they have, of course they would sign Killer Cross.
Yeah, because I remember when they did that with like Matt Riddle.
Yes.
And I like anytime they signed someone new, Bobby Roode
was there.
Crowd,
Drew McIntyre was there. Yeah. And one day it will be Road Break. You and me will just be like,
Jean Paul and Lonzo will be there.
We'll be like, what's up? So now we have a match that like at the beginning kind of like slow, kind of like very spotty, like kind of like they kind of did it for the crowd, just a feel good moment. Mustache Mountain against Reformation Reunited DIY.
Yeah, and to go off what you said before, like you get into like when the match really picked up, for us, maybe it was just that like the Angel Garza kind of like I said, it was a legit match, but we were kind of like really like a little bummed out that he lost. It was that factored with the slow start of this match. Like this, it took me a while then to get into this match and kind of get back into this pay-per-view. Because it was like, not that it was bad or anything, but it was like to me, if you would have had, this match should have been first, and then you should have went into the Dragunov and Balor match. Because that thing was like boom, 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 and that would have got the crowd back into it.
Yes.
Like even the crowd, they were like kind of like not sour on this match, but they were a little slow to get into it. It was just everybody, like nobody was going crazy when Devlin won. Everyone was like really, like what? Like nobody saw it coming.
There was a lot of people were actually like not sure what just happened because like you said, Angel kind of diving towards like the end, kind of is like, did he really win or what happened? So it is true, and it took a long time for this match to pick up.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. This was like a dull, like a slow spot of the paper-view.
Yeah, like a 5, 6, 7 minutes that like they were kind of like playing with the crowd, playing with themselves. Because for example, Trent Seven was like playing with the mustache.
Yeah, and then Ciampa was mocking it with the mustache.
And then Gargano and Tyler Bate, they were playing with each other a little bit. They were taunting. And I mean, I get it, but like, don't overdo it.
Yeah.
Especially after Garza, that like, I guess I think the whole crowd didn't even think that he was gonna, you know, drop the title. So
yeah, like I said to you, it reminded me like you see this stuff like an indie promotion, like Joey Ryan. It's like, okay, that's clearly like a gimmick. Like the dude's using his dick for like a move, you know. So it's like that you're not going to see that on a television where it's presented in a serious manner. And I say the same thing with AEW, like when Penta takes like 7 years, and I love Penta. If you watch AEW, you know I love Penta. So he takes off his glove. It's like, you know, like, dude, like, let's go. You're in a match. And that's the same thing. Like when he caught Gargano's foot and Gargano, like they had each other's foot. And then, like, they let the foot down, and they're like, okay. And they're both like...
And then they
show, like, a show of respect.
It's like
which I get,
too much respect.
Which I get that, because it's like, they're not feuding, and they were like, let's do this, you know, to prove who the better team is. You know, but it's like, if you're still a competitive nature. And I felt like there really wasn't a competitiveness, like you said, for the first 7-8 minutes of this match. It was just like... It was like they were just, you know, like pandering to the crowd.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, there wasn't, and I don't know, for example, like too much respect. Like, I'm going to reiterate one more time. Why? Because, like, come on, it's like, you're in a match. You're supposed to go kill each other. Like, where's your adrenaline? Where's your intensity? Where's your anger? So, that took a long time to pick up. But then once it did, Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano, they're back in the ring. And then Gargano goes for the lone dart. And then, but Bate escapes, then Bate goes for a standing shooter star press, but Gargano gets his knees up. Then Bate goes for the rebound lariat, but Gargano escapes. Gargano goes for a Gargano escape, but Bate tries to get it out of Gargano. Then he locks the Gargano escape one more time, but then Trent Seven goes and then breaks it up. But Ciampa catches Trent Seven and goes for an armbar. So you could see like they were trying to exchange like the submission, and like you said, I don't like how they both try to do submissions at the same time.
Yeah, and there's nothing against like DIY. You see that a lot. Like, if the guy's in the ring, and obviously the illegal man is fighting the other illegal man. But if they do that on the outside of the ring, that's one thing. But to do it in the ring, the ref should be like, what are you doing? Get out of here. Like, you can't be in the ring. And again, I know they're not touching the other guy, so maybe that's why they don't count it. But you see it a lot. And it don't matter which promotion does it. I just don't like it.
Yeah, well, it should be like, I mean, if it is a tornado tag match, I understand it because, you know, there's no tag. But it is a regular, normal tag match, so the two of them
because it's like Trent Seven went to go break up the Gargano escape. Like, Ciampa should have just ran in and tackled him, and they could have flipped over the ropes to the outside.
And then go outside,
To me, that would have been better then. But the whole thing was they were just emulating it when they beat, I believe it was the Revival.
The Revival, yes.
And so they were just trying to, they were just trying to emulate that, which, you know, like I get it. But the whole match, it seemed it was just like a big, like, hey, do you remember this? Like, not like a spot fest, but it was like a callback to everything that
it felt like they had to like kind of like it was like more like a checklist.
Yep.
Hey, we hit this, check. We did this, check.
Yeah, there was the tandem like bop and bang from the Mustache Mountain.
Maybe we're too technical. Maybe we're just maybe
like I said,
maybe we're too picky when it comes to these things. But I feel that like towards the end is when he actually picked up, and it should have been throughout the whole match. It should have been that kind of pace.
Yeah.
Because maybe AEW in that sense, when they go really fast, either for us at least, and to me, it's a little better.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So and then let's go to just the last segment of the match. Trent Seven and Bate escape and hit Gargano and Ciampa with the dual airplane spins. Then Seven drops Gargano and pins him for a 2 count. Seven tags Bate in, and then Bate goes holds Gargano, and they try to hit a lariat on Gargano, but Gargano ducks, and Seven takes out Bate. Then Gargano and Ciampa set up for a super kick and knee strike combo, but Bate and Seven counter. They hit the burning hammer, the knee strike combo, covering Ciampa for a 2 count. We thought that they were going to win at that point. I was like, they're going to pull the outside. Even Nigel McGuinness, oh my God, like, oh, it's done.
And I always like that how Nigel's always like biased to his NXT UK. I like that. That's, you know.
I mean, you're from the UK. You got to show that.
And like I said, there's really no heel commentators for WWE anymore.
Also,
it used to be Corey Graves when he was on NXT, and then he went to the main roster and became a shill.
And now that you mentioned commentary, where was Mauro Ronaldo?
Oh yeah.
Where was Mauro Ronaldo in this? Where was Mamma Mia? Like the whole show was Nigel McGuinness and Tom Phillips. And I mean, Tom Phillips is neutral. I never want to say that like he was like.
Yeah, Tom Phillips. He was bad on SmackDown. He's better in this role.
Yes,
he's definitely better in NXT.
But you just mentioned why? Because Corey Graves, he had, and also he had a near piece right there, and he had somebody.
There's Triple H is probably like, hey, and William Regal, all those guys, like, hey, you know
do
what you're doing.
Thing. Yeah, you do your thing. You know how to wrap your sandwich. You know how to give the art. Just send it and into the stadium.
Exactly.
There you go. Yeah. So last moment of the match, Seven tries to hold Ciampa and plays while Bade dives onto him, but then Ciampa pulls Seven onto the top rope to absorb Bale's drive and covers Seven for a 2 count. All 4 men are in the ring, and then Seven hits Ciampa with a German, but Gargano catches him with a super kick. Bade tries to dive onto Gargano and Ciampa, but they catch him with a double super kick, and they finally hit the combo, the super kick, Nick strike on Trent Seven in the middle of the ring, and Ciampa covers Trent Seven for the pinfall victory. Did we think that Mustache Mountain was going to win? No.
Because, like I was telling you, I'm like, we were watching it, and like we said, there was that one spot with the burning hammers, and we're like, oh shit, are they going to win? But in reality, we knew Ciampa's not going to lose before Portland. And same thing with Gargano. I mean, I think I was, John Paul the Booker, we all love him. We all want him to book our wrestling shows. I understand my schedule's very busy. I can't help you out right now, but, I will when there's free time. But I would have had it where Balor came down and screwed him.
Yeah.
Because Gargano's not going to lose against Balor at Portland. I mean, he might, but I feel like the signs, the Magic 8 Ball says that Gargano's going to win.
Yeah.
So if he does win, have him lose here, then it adds more fuel to the Balor fire. Like, you cost me this match, blah, blah, blah. Like, he'd be like, why'd you have to get involved? This was just a match for the fans, like, do you hate me that much? Come Portland, I'm going to, blah, blah, blah.
And for example, elaborating a little more when it comes to that, let's say Ciampa gets upset. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, because of you and your crappy thing with Balor, and now we lost, you suck, and then see you planted seeds for whatever happens after Portland.
I understand that, but I don't think they're going to turn, that's like a heel thing. I don't think they would turn Ciampa heel.
Yeah, I mean, because like you were saying, like, this is a one-time deal, DIY. The match is over, we lost, whatever, we got to go back to how we really were.
Yeah, but they were both faces. They were both had their own thing going. If someone would turn heel, I think Gargano.
It would have turned heel.
Yeah. Because his heel turn, to me, was bullshit. He was heel for like a couple months, and then he was back to face, and it was like, okay.
And now, like you said, Ciampa is a really big face because everybody was chanting "Daddy's home," "Daddy's home," and everything.
Yeah, everyone has. I mean, they were handed out, but everyone had those black heart signs. No one's gonna boo Ciampa.
Yeah.
And if you turn him heel, I think they'd be like, really? Like, what? They would be like the Big Show. Like, how many times is this guy going to turn heel and face in one day?
Yeah, we just know. So after the match, Mustache Mountain and DIY, they all shake hands, and all 4 men call up each other and celebrate in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
So, that was
and to just give, like, the opinion on the whole match, for me, like I said, the beginning was a little slow, a little bit like, okay, like, are you guys going to fight? Are you just going to, like, shake hands and be like, we're all legit? And it's like, no. Well, but once they got through that, then the match became legit, and it was good. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but again, that could just be because, I had to suffer the defeat of Angel Garza.
Yeah, we were still in shock. So, maybe if we watch this one more time, it will seem a lot better.
Yeah, but I thought this could be a candidate for Tag Team of the Match of the Year, just even though it's only January. But I think Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews versus the Broserweights. I still think that was a lot better for me. So I agree with you. I don't think that, like, to me at least, it didn't deliver to the expectation. But maybe our expectation is way too high. That's what I mean.
Or maybe the match didn't. Well, we want to hear your comments. So please give us some comments. Give us feedback. Hey, I really enjoyed this. You don't have to agree with everything we say. That's what we can start conversation.
And it was in no way a bad match. It was good, but I think, like we said, maybe we were just too excited for it, and
too critical. Maybe, like I said, please comment, because the only way for us to find out is if you guys give us some comments right there. We will respond to every single one of you that comment, and we can start great conversations, because that's what it's all about. Wrestling is about, like, having good conversations. So Imperium is shown also, and they're getting ready for their match. Somebody that we appreciate, Mercedes Martinez, was shown in the audience. Also Dakota Kai, and then they were kind of showing her, and then we see that, like, Tegan Knox comes out of nowhere, and then she tackles Dakota Kai, and they start attacking her, and they go at each other. They were brought in even in the ringside, and then security comes out, and they separated them.
Yeah, I mean, that was cool. But like, if I wasn't expecting, it's like, oh, Dakota Kai's here. Then, boom, Tegan Knox comes out of nowhere. She tackles her. She actually knocks over the barricade. And like you said, they're fighting in ringside. Security's like, what the hell's going on? Then Cody's whipping apart, and it was legit. It was cool.
It was cool. And then, Tegan Knox kept breaking it off, kept breaking away from the security, and then kept attacking Dakota.
It was cool. But one thing I almost would have liked to see is if she would have decked her, and like the Daniel Bryan, had the hood up, came down, decked her, and ran out of there like she didn't even buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Like she just jumped the freaking thing, and it was like, boom, like a hit and run.
That was good, yeah.
But it was cool, though, to see that. And like I said, it continues their feud. And like we said, we really hope that it doesn't end. Is that next week or the following week?
It's next week.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't end. I hope there's some screwy finish. Maybe Dakota Kai uses a knee brace. Because to me, this feud, the way they're really hyping it up, I think it deserves to be an undercard match at Portland.
Yeah, that's what
sure.
and that's what I said. We said it into the review. Where is it? I don't know. Oh yeah, it's on the YouTube channel. Yeah. So I think that like they have enough meat to get to maybe 2 more, even to WrestleMania. Because friendships that turn into rivalries, you always have a lot that you can
because it's like an organic thing. It's not just like a bullshit made up rivalry. I mean, I'm sure these two still love each other, like a shoot. But for the work here, for the match, it's good because like when 2 friends go at it like that, they know how to work with each other.
Yeah, and they want to keep pitching ideas. Hey, you should do this to me, or maybe we should go this route, and then you can keep going.
Yeah.
So Bianca Belair is shown also in the crowd, and that is why, because we have the NXT Championship match with Rhea Ripley against Toni Storm.
Mm-hmm.
So this match, I don't think it delivered a lot for me. I don't want to say out of all the 5 matches that there was, I would say this one was the match that didn't excite me.
This was probably the weakest match.
The weakest match. That's the word I was trying to look for.
The reason I'm gonna also say that is because it's one of those things where, like I always say it, no offense, but wrestling, it's predetermined. It's a work. Why was Rhea Ripley gonna lose this match? This should have been a non-title match. If it was a non-title match, just hey, I'm better than you, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, how Toni said, I beat you twice. Remember when I beat you? Remember when I beat you again? And it could have been like, well, I'm the champion, so really who's better? And then it's like, not like saying if Toni won, she would get a title match. But to me, because it was a title match, you knew Toni wasn't going to win.
Exactly.
And it's like, what are you going to do? Have Toni and Bianca at Portland? That would still be a legit match, but you're not going to play hot potato like that when you invest so much stock into Brock Lesnar. I mean, Rhea Ripley. I mean, Roman Reigns. I mean, well, RR.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not shitting on her, but I'll say it, and I don't care. She was way overbooked Survivor Series weekend. The War Games, everything else, pushed way too hard, and now she's like unstoppable. So now it's like she's not going to lose to Toni. She's not going to lose to Bianca. I don't know who's going to beat her.
Well, right now, we don't even know. We don't even know. But like you said, I think the video package even highlighted that. Mm-hmm. That they over kind of okay, you won at War Games, you win at Survivor Series.
Yeah, the 2-on-1. That's our 2-on. I always say 2-on-1. The 2-on-4 that kills me.
Yeah, and then of course you beat Shayna Baszler and everything. So it's like you're highlighting. There's the message that you're sending even before the match. It's like she's not gonna lose. Mm-hmm. There's no way.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that it didn't do much for me. Although mm-hmm. I was having a lot of expectations. One more time, I think the war is maybe we got overly excited about this.
Yeah, and to me, I have the same attitude going into the Bianca Belair match, because when has somebody ever won a battle royal and then went on to beat the champion? The battle royal is to be like, well, we don't really have a storyline and we need to come up with a contender. Bianca Belair, she's legit. We'll give her. She'll win win the battle royal. Boom. Nothing's going to come from this. Bianca's not going to win. I mean, watch WWE prove me wrong, but I highly doubt it because, like I said, Rhea, they have all their eggs in that basket.
Yeah.
And that's who their woman is right now. And she's not going to win. So I'm going to have the same attitude about that match as I did about this. It's like I'm going to enjoy it if it's legit, but at the end of the day, I know Rhea is going to win. So if I don't see the ending, I already know who won.
Yes, absolutely.
But take us through.
Yep. Then we go. Storm and Rhea Ripley take strikes. Then they club away at each other. Ripley takes Storm down with a series of clotheslines. Then drop kick to the side of the face. Ripley hits Storm with a jumping pump kick. Then picks her up and then slams her down face first. Then Ripley logs into the standing cloverleaf submission on Toni Storm. So that was really cool to see, kind of like the cloverleaf from Dean Malenko.
Mm-hmm.
I always appreciate that move. But Storm eventually powers out of the hole. Then Rhea goes for a Riptide, but Storm reverses into the crossbody and covers Ripley for a 2 count. Storm goes for Storm Zero, but Ripley gets out of it. Then Ripley goes for the PK on Storm, but Storm catches Rhea's Ripley's legs and hits a German suplex, covering her for a 2 count. Storm picks up Ripley, and Ripley catches Storm with a kick to the face and standing dropkick. Then Ripley runs to the ropes, but Storm stops her with a headbutt.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last moments of the match, Storm tries once again the frog splash, and then she misses.
Eddie?
Of course, Eddie, but she's not hitting the move, so come on. Starts hitting, make sure.
Yeah, like we said with the elbow, we don't want Eddie rolling in his grave like Macho Man.
Like with Elias and everything, so.
Elias and Aldis.
Yeah, Aldis.
Yeah.
And can I at least hit it?
Yeah.
And then that video is already out also, NWA Hard Times. Really great review. Jean-Paul and I covered that. Great pay-per-view also. See, we cover everything. Absolutely everything. So Storm, like I said, she misses the frog splash, and then Rhea Ripley hits her with a Riptide and 3 count. Winner, still champ, Rhea Ripley. We already mentioned why, so I don't think there's any need to say anything
like
else
we said,
on that.
After that, she celebrates. Bianca was in the crowd. Bianca's always mouthing off, and she's real, has that attitude, she's the best, she's the toughest woman in the division, and she's just standing there. And it wasn't even like a cocky smile. She looked like, oh, I'm just gonna smile for the camera.
I'm happy she retained. It's like there wasn't okay, I'm next.
Yeah, I wish almost she would have not jumped over the barricade and got in her face, but showed a little bit more intensity. I know, then after she was kind of pointing at her and yelling something, but I want to see more intensity.
Oh yeah, so that's
even though I know she's not gonna win. I just would like to see a little more.
But
intensity.
At least convince me. You know what I mean? That make sure that you're. Because part of it is you gotta convince me of something that you're feeling, and in this case, it didn't come out like that.
Yeah.
But then we get a backstage, we get to see Finn Balor attacking Johnny Gargano, and that was kind of really cool because he also was attacking Trent Seven and Tyler Bate because they came to defend and separate all of them.
Yeah, which shows again, like we said after the match, all 4 men held their hands up, so it's cool you see that show of respect. It's not like Mustache Mountain was DIY is getting their ass kicked they beat us. Why do we care? It's cool to see that they still respect.
And
each
Finn
other
Balor actually said to Tyler Bate, I said I'm going to start with you first. So it seems to me that they're going to announce for NXT on Wednesday is going to be Finn Balor against Tyler Bate. So this show is going to be really stuck because imagine you have that match, you have the final for the Dusty Classic, and then you have also Tegan Knox and Dakota Kai. So you see the show is turning into.
And I really hope we see something with Devlin. I hope that they don't. And again, you don't need to have everybody on the show. But it would be cool to see because you're bringing Tyler Bate over, put Jordan Devlin on the same plane. I mean, they're already there.
Yeah, they're already there.
They're already here. Just keep them here for the week.
Yeah, just he'd be we'll pay you for another week. Just do the show and it will be good.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing will suck if they have to fly home and then be on UK because the time difference. But hey, if you fatten their pockets, I'm sure they won't mind.
Nobody will mind.
Exactly,
because
money talks.
Money talks, and that's Shane McMahon. And we get to the main event, Undisputed Era against Imperium.
Legit.
We love the theme song. We love the theme song. But see, the one thing that was a little concerning is the beginning of the match. Fabian Agner, he was punched by
Alexander Wolf. You mean?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Alexander Wolf. He was the one that actually.
He ate a kick from Bobby Fish, and he was kind of near the ropes. And he kicked him, and it hit him obviously you try to pull up, but this kick hit him right in the jaw. And anybody knows anything about kickboxing, Muay Thai, any of that,
UFC,
you see you watch a fight, it could be ding ding ding, the guy goes and one kick right here, and the dude goes limp, limp, falls to the ground, and that's what it looked like. Wolf, he was on his knees, but Fish kicked him, goes for the cover. And you just saw it. You can see when people are playing, they're knocked out
in character.
Yeah, yes. Knocked out. But this was
even the ref. They were all showing concern.
2, and then the ref was whoa, and he didn't even make the count. And he's which I mean, again, if this was legit, it would be 1, 2, 3 done.
Yeah.
But it was obviously you weren't going to end the match with Bobby Fish and Alexander Wolf. But it was a scary thing because he was legit knocked out. It looked like for a time And the one thing that you knew it wasn't a work was the Wolf wasn't in the shot.
Yeah.
As soon as they knew something was wrong, you saw from here up, and you
You
just
see
saw
Bobby Fish.
Yeah, you saw Bobby Fish and the ref.
And of course, the rep was the ex, at the medical team, so you know that's right away when they need assistance. And they came out, they held Ward up the ring, and then Walter was the one that like came to in the action with Adam Cole, like you said, because like they kind of do a shot, just putting Bobby Fish right there.
Yeah, and the one you did see, there was like maybe 3 guys, medical staff, and it looked like Wolf again. They had him under the arms, but it looks like he was conscious enough to kind of be walking on his own. So good sign.
Oh yeah. So hopefully, like it was just a scare, but like it's kind of nice to see. To me, I will say I'm torn on this, and you'll probably think, yeah, I'm an asshole. Maybe I am, but like it takes away about like the legitimacy of the match. But like I understand that they have to stop it because like there's fear of something happening to Wolf.
Yeah, because it's hard because like I said, there was no way he was going to kick out, and obviously he was probably just supposed to kick out. That's probably how it was supposed to go. And there's no way you could communicate that in time for like Eichner or Bartel or Walter to come in and break it up.
Yes.
And also, if you break it up, you're going to have to be jumping, and you're going to be knocking Bobby Fish into an already knocked out Alexander Wolf. So like you said, it takes you out of it, but it was one of those things. It's like safety does come first. And like we said, we're like, oh, is this like an Uso thing? Like what? Like is he gonna come back? But there was the X, there was everything.
Now that you mention it, yeah, I was thinking in my head, is like he's gonna come back because we just saw yesterday on SmackDown the same thing with Jimmy Uso. He went down, the medical staff took him out of the ring, and then he came back. So I was like, are they doing this one more time?
Yeah, which I didn't think they would because they that was just done for the pop. That was done, is Roman and his team gonna lose? And then, here comes Jimmy. That's all that was. It was all bullshit. But this was presented in a legit manner with these, 8 guys, these 2 teams. And, so it was a scare and it was unfortunate, but everything that followed, like the match was still legit.
Yes. And let me take you some of the spots of the match. Kyle O'Reilly, he goes up to the top rope, and then he hits a diving knee on Bartel. Then he logs into the leg lock into Bartel in the center of the ring. Bartel fights to the bottom rope and then forces a break. A rope break. Look at that. O'Reilly then doesn't break the hold, and Agner hits a moonsault on O'Reilly, forcing another rope break. And then Fish and Agner fight on the outside, but Strong joins with a mugging on Agner. Walter has made his way up to the apron because actually they put him through a table. Mm-hmm. So that was like a really good spot, like all the Undisputed Era.
And that's like everybody, looked good. Like all, and I know, unfortunately, all 7 guys in this match
because at this time it's like 3 against 4.
They all look good, but Roderick Strong to me had a good, like it was almost like Travis Banks. Like if the one guy who stood out to me was him. Like at least for Undisputed Era, even more than Adam Cole and the Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. Roderick Strong looked good.
You even said to me, "Why is he getting so much offense on Walter?"
Yeah, especially on Walter when it was like 1-on-1. I'm like, fuck, like he's gonna win. Like is this a title match? He's gonna beat Walter.
Yeah, because like he got a lot of offense on him. So like it was really cool to see, like, because Roderick Strong just lost his goal.
And that's the one thing, like, because that if you think about it. He looks so strong here against Walter, and he looks strong every other time he wrestles. And you got to think, if this guy was so good, why did he lose his title? It's like that is how good Keith Lee is.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So but like even though he lost, he still looks strong, which I like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then Walter hits a Strong with like a power bomb and with a frog splash. But Adam Cole comes from behind and hits Walter with the last shot, covering him. And then I thought, oh my gosh, he's gonna win. But then. It was only it wasn't even like a 2 count because Bartel and Agner are the ones that like stop it and then they break the pin. Mm-hmm. And all 7 members of the match are exhausted, but you can see that they went through hell, especially Imperium because there were 1 man less.
Yeah.
1 man short, and then they go at each other, and then you see just like chaos exploding. They go at each other, exchanging punches, and then all of them are having trouble to standing even, but they all brawl in the ring anyway. So then Fish and O'Reilly log into a sleeper on Walter, and they hit a high-low on him, or the total elimination, going back to the days of ECW, of course.
Mm-hmm. And Barry Saturn and John Cronus.
That's right. And then Bartel takes out Cole and O'Reilly onto the outside, by Strong hits Bartel with a dive. Agner then dives into the 4-man on the outside, and you love how he just
that guy,
gets on the turnbuckle and then dives.
Yeah, the dude is insane. Like when I look at him, I'm like, he reminds me like Kurt Angle, like just like the way he looks, obviously, just bald and whatever, and like he's really built and
really jacked. Yeah.
Yeah, but. The dude is so athletic. He, to me, like, I don't know, maybe he doesn't have the personality. And not saying I want him to see him leave Imperium, But holy shit, this guy, like in a singles role, forget it.
Oh yeah,
he reminds me like a Cesaro. Like the things he does is like, oh my,
if
this
they,
dude is
for
so
example,
legit.
they could do a twist, a complete twist to the storyline. He could be the one turning on Walter and challenge him for the championship, and maybe he could be the one.
That's the thing. Yeah, and he could win, and then it could be like that he leads Imperium, and Walter goes on a singles thing, which I mean I don't see happening, but like it's one of those things where this dude is so good he could survive in a singles role. It's not like some of those guys like a Marty Jannetty, where it's like he needed Shawn Michaels. Yeah, this guy he could break off and be even bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
Not bigger than Imperium, but he like his personal stock.
We said even the same thing about Kyle O'Reilly, because like he can survive as a singles guy because he knows he has personality. He plays with the guitar, like with the championship and everything. So these are the kind of guys that you could see if their four like staples happen to split, they will be able to survive.
Yeah.
So Fish and Walter are in the ring, but Fish goes for a moonsault, but Walter avoids the move and hits Fish with a powerbomb, and then he covers Fish, and he gets the pinfall, and at the end, Imperium beats the Undisputed Era, and is 3 out of 4, and even though they have the handicap, the disadvantage, so to say, like they still win, and you can see the 3 of them standing tall in the ring, and we get to see and that closes the show for Worlds Collide. And do you think that like the right winner here won the match in Imperium?
Yeah, I think it. The one thing you could argue is like they could have changed the booking on the fly, and it was unfortunate because like we go back to Survivor Series, and I as much as I love Drew McIntyre, really Claymore kick and done. So Walter looked like shit there. He's come out and he's like, he wishes he didn't do it. He said he wasn't happy with the way they booked him. He's like, you shouldn't have even put him in there, to be honest, if that's what you were going to do to him. I thought he was going to be one of the final guys.
Yeah.
And then boom, he was, I think, the first or second guy gone. It's like, really? Like, did he have to take a flight back to the UK? What was going on? And then he had his championship stolen. So he had an awful time over here in America. And I don't blame him if he don't want to come. Well, I know he came back tonight, but besides that, like, the thing, you couldn't have them lose, but then they have a man go down, and it's not a work. It's a legit injury. So it's like, you could have changed it where the Undisputed Era won, and they could have said, we won, but it was the numbers game. But I still think the right team won because now it's like, yeah, they were at a disadvantage, and they still won. And it was still, Walter got the pin. And like I said, and we made the reference, I'll tell the reference, we said the Ninja Turtles are like the Undisputed Era, where it's like all 4 guys are legit, but you had to pick like the least legit guy.
The weakest link.
The weakest link. And we both felt like Bobby Fish is the weakest of Undisputed Era, but that's not saying anything because like we said, for the Ninja Turtles, all 4 turtles are legit, but everyone has that one who they kind of is like, these 3, they're all legit, but this one is a little less legit. And that was Bobby Fish. So it's like, it was good. I was happy to see him get the pin.
Yes.
If it wasn't him, I would have picked Adam Cole. And I know that makes Cole look weak, but if Walter would have got the pin, that would have been like, hey, a champ pins the champ.
Yes.
So, like, to me, like, either one of those 2 guys should have got the pin. It was Fish who got pinned, so I was happy with that. And like I said, the right team won.
Yes. And
even with the handicap.
I think that like for the bad showing that he had in the Survivor Series, and also like the general in the ring and everything, and with the disadvantage that they had, I think they're the right winners are Imperium, just because I think they're pushing Walter. Like his stocks are like getting pushed more and more and more and more. And for example, like I think a really even matchup will be Keith Lee against Walter. See, that will be 2 powerhouses.
Yeah, and I would like to see, and if they still have Worlds Collide next year, if that's a yearly thing, because I feel like this show did good. I feel like the general reception of the show is going to be fantastic. Everyone's going to say this is the best pay-per-view Royal Rumble weekend, and there was a lot. Like we said, there was Hard Times, there's Worlds Collide, and obviously there's the Royal Rumble. So it's like, which show was the best? The people are most likely going to say this, unless something crazy happens at the Royal Rumble. Crazy good. Not Cain Velasquez, Roman Reigns crazy.
No, but for example, like Edge or CM Punk. See, that will be something that...
I feel like even John Cena, that would be like, oh my God, because you get all like the casual fans who love John Cena back in the day. They'd be like, oh my God, Cena, all that stuff. But, so like, unless the Royal Rumble does something crazy, Worlds Collide is going to be the best pay-per-view of the week, or of the Royal Rumble week. So, like you said, everything, it looked legit, Walter. So, if they do that, I would love to see that matchup next year. Like Keith Lee, like the best of the best. Maybe Keith Lee will be the NXT champion by then. Walter if he still holds the championship from now until next year, I wouldn't be surprised because I said to you, who beats him?
Yeah.
We said Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre, I think, is in a good place now. He's probably not going to, because if you would have asked me 6 months ago, I would have said, please put him on NXT UK because they'll use it.
Yeah.
But, we don't know who's going to beat Walter, so I could see him being the champion by next year.
Or like you said, for example, as Cesaro, but we don't know yet. So,
but like we said on SmackDown, I would love to see him go against Sheamus and put him in a singles role or reform the Bar because God knows that WWE needs tag teams.
And they need a legit tag team.
Yeah, the Bar five-time tag champs
already. So yeah, it will be good.
So yeah, go ahead.
No, well, and I feel that's why they should just. It will be a nice matchup, maybe for next year. With Worlds Collide, they continue to be in the pay-per-view right before the Royal Rumble. So I think this wraps the show up.
Yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed the review.
And I want to ask you quick, do you think, not to just and don't well, if they do this, if they do that, just yes or no, which, do you think you will enjoy this more than the Rumble tomorrow?
Yes. Yeah, and I will say why. Because at least here, you get a little bit of upsets. It was spread out. It wasn't just the NXT America winning over NXT UK or vice versa. And also, for example, see, Walter beat Adam, the Undisputed Era. You can see the Undisputed Era is actually starting to lose. Their stocks are going down. They're decreasing. You see that the Undisputed Era, they're realizing, hey, they're starting to go stale. They're starting to make him have some losses. So maybe they either rebuild, they go back up again, or hey, time to split up. The Royal Rumble, I don't know if they're going to give me as much excitement. Yeah. To me, maybe predictable outcomes like we said in the review, unless either Edge or Phil Brooks come out, but and
even John Cena. I'd be excited. I always said that before, but there's that's the things I want to see. But the returns that make sense. You don't put a Hurricane Helms. They said Hornswoggle is in Texas, and it's nothing against the little guy, but it's why waste a spot on Hornswoggle? And that's the thing I don't like.
You could get a guy from NXT.
Yeah,
Damian Priest.
Yeah, there's different things you could do, and that's why I think the Royal Rumble sours with some people because it's you could bring these guys back and then have them be stories and all this stuff. This show there's a story, the Tyler Bate and Finn Balor. Now you have what's his name? Who won the cruiserweight championship?
Oh, the Devlin.
Yeah, Jordan Devlin.
Devlin with
that storyline with Garza now. So there's all this. Now you can bring these NXT UK guys onto NXT main, and it's now you can again keep pumping up NXT UK. You can build them up because it's hey, Imperium beat Undisputed Era. Everyone knows Undisputed Era, and it's oh shit, these guys lost. So this show, it does a lot for not just one or two people like the Royal Rumble tomorrow will do.
It did a lot. Yeah. It did a lot. So
and I agree with you on that. So I think this show overall will be better.
And Wednesday, we're all excited about maybe we could see Imperium opening the show because hey, we beat your best staple. You beat the best four guys that you guys have. What do you have next?
Exactly.
So, guys, please, once again, thank you for watching the videos. As you can see, hit that subscribe button. Turn the bell up for all the notifications. We love when we have new members in our family. And always, follow the Facebook page. You can follow the Twitter page, OG Road Break, and the original Road Break on Instagram. We're constantly giving you more updates of everything, results, news, rumors, everything. So, in the name of Jean-Paul and myself, we want to say thank you very much. We'll be here once again for the Royal Rumble. And you and me want to say... Ada!